our chalice. Like sunrise, bringing warmth and light to a new day, bring warmth and light into our hearts. May this light from our chalice, like the light of the sun, give us clear direction and help us in our decisions and our choices by lighting our way. May it be so.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden's a play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day.
Good morning. We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Bridgeport, and we welcome you. We hope that you are safe and that you are well, and that you are keeping connected with friends and family any way that you can. We welcome you, and we want you to know that you are seen, you are heard, you are valued, and you are loved. It does not matter who you are or where you come from. You are one of us, and you are welcome.
Good morning. In February 2009, Barack Obama said, "The strongest democracies flourish from frequent and lively debate, but they endure when people of every background and belief find a way to set aside smaller differences in service of a greater purpose." I'd like to repeat that once more. The strongest democracies flourish from frequent and lively debate, but they endure when people of every background and belief find a way to set aside smaller differences in service of a greater purpose. This is certainly true for our nation as a whole, and will hopefully be remembered during this national period of civil unrest. But this is also true for our beloved UU community. We must be willing to engage in conversation and lively debate about any issue that we face as a community. We will not all agree on every facet of a proposed budget. We will not all agree on whether to display a Black Lives Matter banner or what exactly it should look like, and so on for any other issue that our community has faced or will face going forward. but we must always listen and respect all voices within our congregation. In listening to each other, we can best figure out how to set aside smaller differences in service of a greater purpose. The current worldwide health crisis has made it impossible to gather as we normally would, and this is made obvious especially today for our annual meeting. This does make lively debate harder. This does make it harder to hear all voices in service of our greater purpose. So we must all do our best in these circumstances to stay engaged, to listen to each other, and to do what will ultimately best serve our greater purpose. Thank you for joining us today for this important day in exercising our fifth principle as a community, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large.
All are architects of faith, working in these walls of time. Some with massive feats and great, some with ornaments of rhyme. For the structure that we raise, time is with materials filled. Our todays and yesterdays are the blocks with which we build. Build today, then strong and sure, with a firm and ample base, and ascending and secure, shall tomorrow find its place.
We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. So I will not be tackling the right of conscience. It's an important subject, and it deserves its own time, its own space, its own energy. I will be talking about the democratic process today. Now, when I put together a service, I turn to sources. I have support systems. I turn to the hymnal to look for hymns and for readings. I go to the UUA worship web, and I look for the words of ministers and other leaders of our church to help me along my way, to guide me, to inform me. I may not use those words. I often don't. But knowing what these other people say and what they think helps me put together a good service. So, for this service, I went through that process. I got out my hymnal. I went to the back. There is a section where the hymns are listed according to subject. And I looked for democratic process. Nothing there. I thought, well, okay, that's kind of a hard thing to find a hymn for. I guess I'll do that on my own. There will probably be some readings that I can use. So I went to the readings section and looked for democratic process. Nope, nothing. No help. I'm still on my own. So, surely, if I go to the source, if I go to my faith's website, to the UUA.org website, to Worship Web, to Words for Worship, I will find some help. I typed in democratic process, and I got nothing. I was left alone. My support systems had been pulled out for me, and I was feeling so sorry for myself until it occurred to me that there are millions and millions of people in our country for whom the support systems of our society just aren't there. They do not have the food they need. They do not have access to good jobs, to good housing. And I thought, wow, how privileged can I be that I am so upset because I don't have the help I was hoping to find to write a sermon. So, the democratic process. Why is what I just said important to the democratic process? Because the democratic process is what helps us to affect the world. It isn't just voting. Yep, absolutely, it's elections. But within that, we have to make sure that we are making informed, intelligent decisions. And we can only do that if we educate ourselves, if we find out who the candidates are, what their backgrounds are, what they are trying to accomplish in the world, if we have to know what the issues are. And that takes time, that takes effort, that takes reading, that takes talking to people. Over and above elections, well, during the year, we can support candidates. We can send money to them. We can also call our lawmakers. We can write to our lawmakers, and we can tell them how we feel and what we are thinking, because it is their job to listen to us and to hopefully make decisions based on what we tell them, because we are the ones who are in charge. They are not the ones in charge. We are the ones in charge, and we need to take the reins. Over and above elections and leadership, there are other things we can do that are actually part of the democratic process. We can attend meetings. We can attend rallies. We can organize those things. And most importantly, perhaps, what we can do in the democratic process is put our money where our mouths are. It's America, and it's an unfortunate reality that money speaks. So what do we do with our money? Do we support candidates? Do we support issues? Do we support organizations that work for peace and understanding and education? And what do we do with our money on a daily basis, just within our lives? Where do we shop? Where do we not shop? Do we buy organic produce so that we are making sure to lessen the effect of insecticides and chemical fertilizers upon our land and upon our bodies? Do we shop locally so that we are helping to bolster the communities in which we live? Do we make decisions not just about where we do shop, but where we don't shop? Do we choose not to shop at Walmart or Amazon or Whole Foods because they have long histories of bad relations with their employees, of bad labor practices, of poor working conditions, whilst they reap insanely huge profits? That, right there, that is perhaps the most important thing we can do within the democratic process, is just decide what we're going to do with our money to make those kind of informed, intentional choices, because that is what democracy is about. That's what the democratic process is about. It's about choices. As Dumbledore said to Harry, and I don't have the actual quote in front of me, but it's not who we are that is important. It is the choices that we make. It is the choices we make that are important. It is the choices we make that are us. Choices, informed, intelligent, intentional choices is what the democratic process is all about. Amen. Blessed be. Salam. Shalom.
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its joy. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Faith of the larger liberty, source of the light expanding, of the church that is to be, old bondage notwithstanding. Faith of the free, by thee we live, by all thou givest, and shalt give our loyalty commanding. Heroes of faith in every age, far-seeing, self-denying, wrought an increasing heritage, monarch and creed defying. Faith of the free, in thy dear name, the costly heritage we claim, their living and their dying. Faith for the people everywhere, whatever their oppression, all who make the world warfare, living their faith's confession. Faith of the free, whate'er our plight, thy law, thy liberty, thy light, shall be our blessed possession.
Our closing words come to us from Wynton Marsalis. As long as there is democracy, there will be people wanting to play jazz because nothing will so perfectly capture the democratic process and the sound. Jazz means working things out musically with other people. You have to listen to other musicians and play with them even if you don't agree with what they're playing. It teaches you the very opposite of racism and anti-Semitism. It teaches you that the world is big enough to accommodate us all.
When the sun sets, its light does not disappear. It goes on and on. And so the light of our chalice goes on and on in our hearts. Amen, and blessed be.